Hi, my name is Andrew Bond, and my marketing challenge focuses on how AMC can better reach, engage, and retain Gen Z moviegoers. Now, the strategy that I'm recommending is called Beyond the Screen into the Scene. Now, that name is intentional because the opportunity is not to just sell more movie tickets. It is to make moviegoing feel like a social scene Gen Z wants to be a part of again. By the end of the presentation, my goal is to show how AMC can turn Gen Z moviegoing into a repeatable, app supported social ritual through fan nights, group planning, fandom centered events, and a disciplined pilot plan. To frame this presentation, I want to start with the three things that this strategy comes down to: what we need to know, what we should feel confident about, and what AMC should do next. The key thing to know is that Gen Z is not simply rejecting theaters. The bigger issue is that moviegoing often feels, hard to plan, too expensive, or less social than other options. The reason to feel confident, though, is that AMC already has many of the right assets: theaters, stubs, the app, concessions, physical spaces where fans can gather. The action is to test those assets through a focused 90-day fan night pilot. The central issue is not that movies have stopped mattering. It is the decision to go to the movies now has to fight harder for attention, time, and money. Now, my environmental analysis showed that this challenge sits at the intersection of several forces. Gen Z is fragmented into different subsegments. Moviegoing has to feel socially and financially worth it. And substitutes like streaming and gaming are easy. Technology can either reduce friction or create trust issues, and price sensitivity affects repeat behavior. That is why this is bigger than just promotion. AMC has to make moviegoing easier to coordinate, more socially meaningful, and more worth leaving home for. For this strategy, the customer insight is that Gen Z is not just buying a movie ticket. The real job is making the night out happen. Now, that means finding something the group cares about, coordinating people, justifying the cost, and feeling like the outing will be worth all that effort. This is where customer intimacy matters. AMC needs to design around the way specific Gen Z moviegoers actually behave, especially socially motivated, fandom driven, and value conscious customers. The opportunity is to support the full journey from discovery to planning, to attendance to sharing, and repeat visits. The app and the stubs ecosystem become tools for reducing friction, not just pushing offers. This is the core recommendation: a customer intimacy strategy called, as you've heard before, Beyond the Screen into the Scene. Now, rather than reading the positioning statement word for word, I want to focus on why it is framed this way. The strategy is built around a shift from AMC selling screen time to AMC helping Gen Z build a social scene around moviegoing. This matters because it moves the model beyond a standard showtime. The theater becomes a host for shared experiences and fan identity, not just a place that happens to show films. This is more defensible than simply discounting tickets or relying on a movie slate that is strong. The business model is Gen Z fan nights, built around a simple loop: plan together, show up together, repeat together. The goal is to close the gap between interest and action. Instead of someone seeing a movie trailer and dropping it in a group chat and watching the plan fall apart, AMC would make the next step easier through group planning tools, event value, and post event follow up. The fan night itself gives the visit more identity through fandom themes, bundles, timed concessions, and shareable moments. But the bigger idea is the loop. If AMC can make the experience easier to plan and easier to repeat, the model can drive attendance, concessions, and loyalty. The logic is that AMC should not only compete as a better version of the traditional movie theater, and it cannot beat streaming by being more convenient than staying home. The stronger opportunity is to compete on what substitutes cannot fully copy: a planned social event, shared fandom energy, and the feeling that the night mattered. That means reducing the friction that makes group plans collapse and moving away from generic promotion. Now, at the same time, AMC raises social relevance, value clarity, and fandom identity. The shift is from standard showtime plus a messy group chat to a planned fan night with a reason to show up. Breaking down the 5 Ps shows that this plan can be executed without turning into a massive, capital heavy reinvention. Now, it runs on assets AMSI already has, including its theaters, app, Stubbs ecosystem, concessions, and staff, while adding a more focused layer of fan night planning, local partnerships, and event execution. Now, the main point is that this strategy does not require AMC to rebuild the theater experience from the ground up. It requires AMC to connect its existing assets around a clear Gen Z ritual. The organizational plan and service blueprint in the appendix expand on the operating model behind this, including staff readiness, local execution, and the customer journey. For the pilot, I would focus on 3 headline measures. A 25% Gen Z repeat visit rate within 60 days asks whether the ritual actually sticks. Positive contribution margin by the third pilot cycle asks whether the idea can pay for itself, not just generate excitement. And a 60% group or social attendance rate asks whether the experience is truly social, which is central to the whole strategy. The full KPI scorecard is in the appendix, but the main point is that AMC should not judge the pilot on activity alone. These measures connect customer desirability, operational feasibility, and financial viability. The recommendation is to approve a $750,000 to $1.5 million 90-day pilot across 10 to 20 Gen Z dense AMC theaters. The first step is choosing the right theaters and finalizing the app flow and the fan night templates. Now, from there, AMC can train the teams, secure the creator or campus partners, run 2 to 3 events per theater, and review the results after each cycle. The important point is disciplined learning. If the pilot hits the repeat visit, group attendance, and margin thresholds, AMC can scale to additional markets. If not, it should revise the planning flow, bundle design, or event operations before expansion. The ask is simple: approve the pilot, learn quickly, and scale what works. Thank you for your time.